Welcome to Into the Utopia. This is a story about a young professional named Arman waking up in the year 2037 and remembering how life and mobility was once upon a time and comparing it to the day's scenario. So, let's dive into the story right away. Arman finally opened his eyes. His smart house had been trying to wake him for the past 10 minutes, the window shades had opened on cue, and the ambient lighting had been getting brighter to combat the gloomy day outside. Based on his weekly calorie intake, the smart house advised him to consume 1160 calories lesser than yesterday. The day seemed to have started in a bad way, as he already started receiving calls from work. He could hear the morning news, the broadcast projected onto the mirror in his bathroom. The mirror also showed him the agenda along with the weather forecast. He now asks Alexa to play his morning podcast.
Today's date is the 8th of June 2037. A quick weather forecast for you. A partly cloudy and warm day is expected today. Lowest relative humidity will be near 33%. Expect 13 hours of sunshine, which is 87% of possible sunshine.
His rented SUV was fully charged. The house, the PV system on its top with battery, his car, and the grid all talk to each other to ascertain the best time for the vehicle to charge. Arman smiles as he remembers the days when drivers worried about when and where they could charge their EVs, checking apps and maps for the location of a charger that would work with a particular vehicle. Today, standardized fast chargers and high-performance batteries are everywhere and compatible with all models, while parking spaces and taxi stands serve double duty as wireless charging pads. Mobile chargers will come to you if the need somehow arises, a concierge service offered by some automakers. New entrants with their recently launched EVs are offering the free charging to the new customers. He could drive his SUV by his own, or he could simply switch to autopilot mode and merge into one of the express lanes dedicated to autonomous connected vehicles, allowing him to sit back and finish prepping for his first meeting as traffic keeps moving at a steady pace. Vehicle-to-vehicle networks enable constant communication between cars while data pours in from the infrastructure, sensors in the road, intersections, signs, and more. His home tells him if it's a high-energy demand day, meaning Arman could avoid this issue by leaving his EV at home and selling power back to the grid. And with a single voice command, he can summon an autonomous rideshare or even a robotaxi. Costs aren't quite down, but the hassle-free aspect is inviting. Or he could go old school and take advantage of mass transit, which has become eminently more efficient thanks to fleets of electric buses, trains, and even ferries connecting the different suburbs to downtown. There are many hydrogen-powered buses alone in service. It's no wonder connected vehicles don't crash anymore. New lanes are being designated on main highways, which are purely for autonomous driving. People nowadays do not buy their own vehicles. Arman marvels at how car culture has changed. His kids and their friends don't appreciate cars the way he did growing up. He grew up loving the sound and smell of a gas-fed engine, but this new generation wrinkles their nose at fumes and the impact on the environment. Igniting pistons is old school. The fastest cars today all have electric motors. Arman works in the company where they design products to be reusable. For example, electrical devices are designed in such a way that they are easier to repair. Products and raw materials are also reused as much as possible. For example, by recycling plastic into pellets for making new plastic products. His company expanded rapidly over the previous 2 decades and has received government subsidies. Working at an institution that assists other sectors in reducing their carbon footprint and promoting sustainability makes him happy. Arman keeps his gasoline-powered car on the outskirts of town. Vehicles with internal combustion engines aren't allowed in the city center. If he wanted to go downtown, he would have to leave it at one of the parking hubs that ring the city center and jump on the light rail or grab an electric scooter, rickshaw, e-bike, or robotaxi. Automakers sell very few new vehicles with a combustion engine anymore. The government now slaps a 15% tax on vehicles that emit carbon dioxide. Most of the world's major legacy automakers still exist, and they also provide mobility as a service-based system to help spread out the enormous costs of the shift to electrification, developing autonomous and other advanced tech, and the modernization of plants and infrastructure. Smaller, defiant brands finally got offers they couldn't refuse, but continue as subsidiaries of larger companies. But the real change that has astonished Arman is the steady rise of big techs and Chinese players on the global automotive scene. Apple finally got a car on the market, more of a mobile device on wheels, really, and made the big inroads everyone feared, appealing to those more interested in wow factor tech and personalization than design or driving dynamics. At the end of a long day, Arman turns on the autonomous mode of his SUV and merges into the express lane for the ride home. He tells Alexa to order dinner. The car says he'll be home at 7:02 p.m., so he arranges for the food to arrive by drone, fresh and hot, at 7:15 p.m. Arman settles back in his seat. The sensors in his smart seatbelt can tell he's a little agitated and his blood pressure is slightly elevated, the perfect time for a health check courtesy of the car. The ambient lighting switches to more soothing colors. Filtered air with jasmine and lemon scent fills the cabin. The heated seats begin to massage him as Alexa asks which playlist he prefers. Cool evening breeze blowing lightly on Arman's face, and he closes his eyes. His thoughts return to his student days in 2022, when the global businesses were in harmony via free trade and international collaboration. Thank God. It is still in effect today. The world is reaping the harvest of prosperity which was sown 15 years back. Alexa reminds Arman that he has reached home. He envisioned this dream a long time ago and is now witnessing it come true.